Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. We have a new theme since we have a new year, and it is living out loud. So every time you're tempted to go LLOL, I want you to think living out loud. Our focus for the month of January is root and reboot. We're going to reboot as we start our new year. And the title of our talk today is God is a Concept. I cannot wait to hear what our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks, brings to us with her message on that topic. We're so glad that you joined us here today. Please feel free to add to the chat or the comments section any celebrations or any concerns that you would like us to include later in our service when we do our affirmative prayer, which we call spiritual mind treatment. So now, as we officially kick off our service with this video, we invite you to sit back, just relax. It's all good as we start our service for today. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly. And so it is.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God is the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth and the stars and all of creation. God is creator, all and all, leading us to shine its light as me, as you is command my hands. What must they do? Command my life, it's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine its light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light. God needs us to shine its light as me. And you, so use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
Woo. Hey, good morning and Happy New Year. And what a great way to start our year with some Cheryl Renee. She was singing that at Mile High Church. And since Leah is off on her travels, I thought, what a great way to just bring in some of our artists from around the country that are doing this good work. So thank you, Cheryl Renee. So here we are. It is 2023. Can you believe it? I can't. But I tell you what we're going to do this morning. You'll notice we did not do our meditation because I'm going to need some time with you guys. And you see the picture here? The burning bowl. It's time for our annual burning bowl ceremony. And so that means, every year we typically do this in person. Every year we make New Year's resolutions. People do. Did you make your New Year's resolutions? Everybody typically does. And it's a great time to do so. It's a marker. The January 1st of a new year is a marker. It's what reminds us that, hey, we have new beginnings. There are new things happening, and I can make some concerted efforts and do things. But with all that, this year you have to understand that we can't bring in new things unless we release what no longer serves us. So the beginning of the year is a perfect time to take the ideas about what no longer serves us and release them to make room for the things that we know we want to attract into our lives. So this is a couple processes that we're going to go through before we talk about the topic of today, which is that God is a concept that Tamara talked to us about. And so this is the process of newness. So this is a good time of the year to do the letting go. And this allows us to accept more good in our lives. Because if we hold on to a relationship, or you hold on to a business that failed, or you hold on to those injustices that those people did, well, it's kind of like trying to breathe in if you haven't breathed out yet. In fact, let's try this. Take a deep breath in. Now take another one without letting go of your breath. Now take another. It's hard. It's hard. You exhale. So that is the process we're doing. This is an exhale process, exhalation. We're going to release our old stuff before we turn our attention on what it is we would like to attract into our lives. And so, just like we have questions about what am I holding on to? Do I think I'm too old? Do I think I'm too young? Do I think I'm not educated enough? Whatever our beliefs are that are holding us back, that don't support our growth, well, that's what we're letting go of today. Another cause of somebody not realizing how they're connected with God and how God is bringing all that we need into us, but we haven't made room. Another major case where unforgiveness is typically the case. If we have not released the hold that unforgiveness has on us, that's another way that we could be getting in the way of our blessings. And I want us to have the best 2023 that we can wrangle. And you know that God or the divine or infinite spirit is that. It is infinite. And so the only thing making limits on it is us and our thoughts, whatever we're holding on to, whatever it is we're attached to, either because we really wanted something or because we really didn't want something. So both of those are attachments. Forgiveness is one way to release, and just letting go of what was, we're releasing. If I can quote a Bible scripture for you, David in Psalm 51 said, after making some mistakes, he says, "Purify me," he's praying, "create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit in me." That's the kind of energy we want here. Even Jesus understood about forgiveness and release. In Matthew 23:26, he says in his prayer, "Cleanse first that which is within the cup, that the outside may be clean also." What? Cleanse first that which is within the cup, that the outside might be clean also. How many of us just try to put the shellac on top of the you know what? Let's clean up what's inside. So that's what we're going to do right now. And we're going to let go of some of those things we've been holding. And now, before we talk about how we do it, because if we were in person, we would all get in line. After I take you through this short meditation, we would all stand in line and go up to the front where there's a bowl that's burning, and we would toss our paper in the bowl. But we're not in person, and we're spread out all over the country. And so what I've texted some of you, get a bowl with some water in it. You need that nearby, because I'm not gonna, our church insurance can only cover so much. All right, so you got your bowl with water. Then you got your candle. I want you to light your candle, because it's better if when you write down, I'm going to take you through a meditation, you're going to write down. So you'll need a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to write down the things you're releasing. And then when it's time, when we come out of that meditation, I will ask you to take the piece of paper, light it on fire, and hold it over the bowl as it begins to burn. And when it becomes close, you know what I'm talking about. When it gets close to the point where you can't hold it, you drop that little ember right there in the water. And the water's there because if at any time you feel a little uncomfortable or the paper's folded in a way that the flames come up a little weird, you will drop it immediately. Promise me, yes? Okay. So now take your piece of paper, tear it out of your journal, whatever you need to do. Take your pencil or pen and come with me into this meditative moment. And I think I have music for that, don't I, Tamara? Let's take a moment. Let's close our eyes and turn within. Take 3 deep breaths. We're on our 3rd deep breath. as we prepare for this burning bowl ceremony. If you've just joined us, we've got our bowl of water and we've got our candle that's lit with a flame. Most importantly, we have a piece of paper and a pen. And if you don't want to burn the bowl, burn the item at the end, feel free to just rip it up with much vigor. So we're here and we're in this space and we're holding that breath. We're breathing in and releasing. Really let those chimes anchor you within. Yes. Now we ask ourselves this: what ideas, what resentment, what unforgiveness or opinions am I harboring that is preventing me from moving ahead? Take notes as you remember. What ideas, resentment, unforgiveness, or opinions am I harboring? Now you can just write down that opinion. You don't need to put a lot into it. Just write it as if it's true. For example, my mother-in-law sucks. Something like that. Whatever it is you're harboring, whatever resentments you have. What restrictions are blocking the flow of good? And we'll write it in the present moment. So if it's a money restriction, you might write, there aren't enough jobs. Whatever false belief, write it down as if it's true. Now, what about someone? Who comes to your mind when I ask you this? Should I hang on to this relationship? Or is this relationship finished? Another way to think of it is to ask yourself, how am I benefiting from this? This gives you ideas. What comes to mind? Now, a person is not as easy to discard as an idea. So I want you to write down what limiting ideas about the person you would like to release. What limiting ideas about the person? An example might be, this politician is shady, or whatever it is about a person, a relationship in your life. I'm a mom, I don't get enough help around the house, or I'm a dad and nobody appreciates my contribution. Write that down, because these thoughts are limiting us from our good. Anything you'd like to let go. Now let's bring focus to our physical body. Is there something you'd like to let go of? Is there an idea about your physical body you would like to release? Is it too this or not enough that? Write that down. And I hope you've been just writing away at this time, because I'll give you another minute to finally write down whatever else you can think of that you'd like to let go and leave it in 2022. You don't want it to come with you moving forward. Now, if you're done writing down as much as you've thought of, I invite you to take the paper carefully. We're going to light it aflame and then watch it burn. I'll show you mine. Whew, the heat that comes off of that bad boy, huh? Be careful. As soon as you can no longer read any of the words on that sheet, go ahead and drop it into the water. So hopefully nobody's fire alarms are going off or anything. Now we're going to move on. Just blessing that experience, knowing that those things are in the past. Yes, it's a ritual, it's a ceremony, and it's so much more than that. It's symbolic of where we are going, where we want to go in our lives. Because what is in store for you this year? We choose what is in store for us. Some people think that goal setting is manipulative of the divine, that they don't want to direct God. They want to just, let's see what shows up. And well, it can be true if you're trying to manipulate people to give you what you want. But what I've learned as a practitioner is this: when we pray with the idea of the result that we want. What do we want to feel like? What do we want to experience in our lives? We do not pray that Joe on 7th Avenue is the source of that good, because that's a little too specific. It could be that the divine has a whole team of people waiting to help you. But by focusing on a specific channel, we've limited our attention, and therefore we limit what we can even recognize as coming our way. If instead we focus on the hub, think about a wheel, a bicycle wheel, where there's a hub with many spokes going out to the edges. Focus on that hub. What is it you want? Because the ways in which the divine can bring it to you are as varied as the number of spokes around that thing. And how dare we try to, foresee the exact manner in which it shall unfold? We will limit ourselves and then wonder why God doesn't answer our prayers. So we want to focus on the experience from an enlightened perspective, because while we focus on what goals we have from an enlightened perspective, we also allow that to inform every day of our lives, every moment of our awareness. If we keep our mind on what it is we want, then we notice more and more how it's possible, how that can come about. And so that helps us with our attention and with our intention. It helps us to build. And so there's a story of a guy who could only read numbers. I don't know if this is appropriate, but he can only read numbers, but he couldn't read letters. So he was asked if there, do you find that's a problem? And he says, no, I don't think it's a problem that I can only read numbers, because it's only that when I drive, I can see how far I've traveled. I just don't know where I'm going. I mean, but that's not a problem. So when we want to hold in our ideas of where we're going, we definitely allow the rest of it to just unfold. We're not focusing on the little things. Well, I did 17 steps. Yeah, but sir, you're on a treadmill, so you're not going anywhere. It's we got to focus on that. Making a plan for this next year. So we have short-term vision, we have long-term vision, and this is where we start to ask, but where does the good come from? And if you're new to new thought, you might start thinking, wait a minute, God is just a concept? So wait, who am I praying to when I'm praying? You may ask yourself this, and this is why it's the topic of the day. So let me talk to you about that. Now, in religious science, this is called religious science. What our teaching is, we've moved away from the term religious science for reasons that a lot of mainstream confuses religious science with Christian science, and they're not the same. But since they're so conflated a lot, that we've sort of just moved into, we call it Centers for Spiritual Living, as opposed to Church of Religious Science. There's reasons. But the science, the word science behind it, is based on the fact that underneath everything that has been created is an infinite intelligence. Now, through the cultures have called it different things. Religions have called it different things. And I'm going to talk to you about some of the different ways in which religions have talked about it. And we'll wrap ourselves right back around to our plan for 2023. So in religious science, God is absolute. It's self-existent. It's first cause. How did anything get here? It had to start somewhere. Do you remember asking yourself that when you were a kid? Where did all this come from? God. Well, where did God come from? So it just is. It always has been. And you'll hear he has always been. I don't like to think of God as a he. But you'll hear God always has been and always will be. It's ever present. It's never started. And so everything that's created emanates from that one, from that first thing, which is God. And so the divine spirit, therefore, contains everything in it. All imagination came from the one. Everything you're looking at, anything you can see, from a skyscraper to an airplane to a shoe, that started with the divine mind. It started with intelligence, with imagination, and then execution. And there's a reason why if you came up in Western tradition Bible study, you'll hear the stories of God thought something, God said something, and boom, it happened. It's that order: the thinking, then the imagining, and then the speaking, and then it is. And if you come to our classes, we teach you that every day of your life, you're doing in the micro what God did in the macro. You're creating your life by thinking, then speaking, and then you create. And so we teach you in our classes, watch what you say, watch your mouth. Okay. And so that's because we teach that God is all there is. There is no, in the beginning was God. God always was here. God is here now, and it's in and through everything. And there's a divine substance back of everything. So I want to take you through around the world. The Chinese Tao, the Chinese call it the Tao. And some people pronounce it Tao, that's fine. The Tao is the underlying absolute principle underlying the universe. So they think of it as, we call it God in Christianity, but the Tao is what they call it in Chinese tradition. It's the underlying absolute base for all beingness. It's the principle that the universe sits upon. They combine, combining with itself. So the universe combines with the Tao, the principles of yin and yang. You see it there in the middle of the symbol here. And it signifies the code of behavior that is in harmony with natural order. And what's really fun is all those symbols that are around the yin and yang symbol. So the yin and yang, you see, there's darkness and there's light. There's equal amounts of each. And the darkness has a little light and the light has a little darkness. Do you see how they have that together? And they're the wheel, it's bound in a circle because circles, we talked about that last week. But look at there, if you look at the Tao Te Ching, these are the little things, these are the little strokes, those little symbols around it. Those are different aspects of the divine, much like you might find in the Enneagram, in chakras, in the Kabbalah. Similar, they have them here in the Tao. So it's interesting how different traditions all kind of say the same thing. Let's look at another one. The Upanishads. Now, Hinduism, what they study is the Upanishads. It's a Vedic text, and that's what they refer to as the basis. It's their Bible. Now, what they call Brahman, that's the oversoul. That's all that is. It's an eternal, conscious, irreducible, infinite, omnipresent being. It's the spiritual core of the universe. It's infinite and it's changeless. Like a principle is infinite and changeless, applies to everything consistently. That's Brahman. And there's whole millions and billions of people that study that. They're saying the same thing. And then, of course, the Quran. In the Quran, now the Quran is also based on the Bible as well. It's one of the religions of the book. So there's three. There's Judaism, there's Christianity, and there's an Islam. So that they call God Allah, and of course they refer to Allah as the creator, the inventor, the shaper. He alone has the most beautiful names you'll find in their Quran. Whatever is in the heavens and the earth constantly glorifies him, and he is almighty, all wise. Again, this is the same concept that we have. Now, not to limit this only to the West and the Eastern traditions, of course, we have to bring in a little bit of Yoruba. And the Yoruba tradition, they call it the Orisha. And there are many Orishas that much like the Tao Te Ching, how you saw all those symbols around the yin yang symbol, there are different Orishas around Orunmila. Orunmila is the source, the base source of all the other aspects. And they've created a binary system that has 256 characteristics of the divine and how it shows up in life. And I couldn't help but make a connection to the number of bytes that it takes in a computer to do the memory, to do the processing of the binary algorithms. And yeah, I was like, whoa. So ancient Africa already knew binary math well before we did. And it's funny because it's really not exactly the same, but it's so close. I can't help it but notice patterns. But really, perhaps the most important pattern here is that the divine has been showing itself in all of its ways through all of the years of history. And I only mentioned 4, but there are hundreds of traditions that have the same story, that there's only one. That one is a set of divine principles that come out of it. And it's an ever-loving, ever-present, everywhere present, beneficent, well-meaning presence that we all have access to. And we tend to fight about the little things. We tend to have religious wars about little things like, well, we think you should wear dresses and we think that you shouldn't cut your hair, but you're cutting your hair, so therefore let's fight. Turns out 99% of the content is in agreement. The divine ever present in all things. And it is what we have access to right now. It didn't create us and leave. It's right here, right now, ever present. So with that knowledge, what we're saying is God is a concept that has been ever since humans have been human. And even before that, whatever it was before we were standing upright and walking, we show that there's tradition where people have looked into the sky and come up with mythology that defines the highest consciousness of man, of beings. You know the difference between good and bad. And so we've known that over the years. And so here we are in this center on the 1st of January of 2023, knowing that since God is a concept, we get to choose which part of that we accept in our lives. And I want to say right now, if there's anything that was told to you about a concept, about who God is, and it doesn't jibe with what you know, then write that down on a piece of paper and burn that puppy. It's an idea. It's a concept that many people have maybe over perfected and oversold. We get to peel apart the parts that don't work for us. We get to bask in the parts that do work for us. And from that sense, we get to choose, and we get to choose again, and we get to experience exactly our heart's desire. Because what else were we put here for? Of course, the divine loves us infinitely. Of course, we bask in the presence of the love that is us, as us. And then we meet each other in community and we see God shining in the other person's face. And we just say, oh, you are precious. Because without all of the dogma, when we peel that away, we are left with the truth. And that is, we are divine beings having a human experience. We're meant to love one another, be here for one another, and just celebrate all the good that there is. So I ask you again, for 2023, what do you declare to be true about you? What is it that you want? What is it that your soul desires? And you can go ahead and jot down a few things here, but admittedly, it's not a 6-minute exercise like the releasing ceremony. And so we will be getting together and doing a vision board. And I'm recommending a couple of afternoons. I'm recommending this afternoon and then next Sunday for those who aren't around. And so you guys can pick which one you want to attend. But why not sit down today and get online and just go to that website and pick images that represent the ideas that you have about yourself that you want to bring about in 2023. And then I always recommend that, sorry, I'm going to grab an example. I always recommend that once you get this thing done, that you create it, that you put it on a sheet of paper and you send it to Costco.com and let them print it out for you. And let that be on your wall. Let that be the thing that your eye is drawn to every day. And see at the end of the year how much of that came about. This is our task, to define the life we want to experience, accept it knowing that it is ours to experience, and then walk out into the world being that shining example of all that's possible. So if we have any requests for prayer, I will take them. If not, let's just go into prayer as we wrap up this beautiful New Year's Day. Just settling into that awareness that there's only one power, only one life. That life has replicated itself in all that we see, in all that we hear, in every experience. There too is the divine. There can be no separation. The universe itself is alive and pulsing with the creator energy. The creator, the creation, one and the same. And what's really exciting is that there's a lot of unmanifested potential. There's infinite potential that is unmanifest. It is around us, just as there was electricity around back in the days before it was discovered. It was there, but nobody knew it was there. They couldn't harness it, so they lit candles. And when electricity was finally discovered and it was harnessed and it was made to move through every person's home and move through the cities, then it illumined everything. It allowed more possibilities. I'm saying to you today, right here, right now, there is something available that has not yet been discovered in our lives. There's a potential, there's something that we don't see yet. We didn't harvest it yet. It's not evident yet, but it's right here. It's because all possibilities are right here, right now. We simply have to become aware of it by working on the insides, by making ourselves a fine-tuned instrument to pick up on all the possibilities that are in and through and around us right now. And then when we become aware of it, we harness it and we bring it into fruition. There's not some being out there that's slowly doling out pancakes. It's all right here, right now. We simply have to sit still. We get to notice and rise up and accept it. So knowing that we are one with this energy, knowing that all possibilities are right here and right now, I speak my word that everyone within the sound of my voice is opening and awakening to their infinite possibilities. And that with directed attention and directed intention, we can begin to move in the direction of our heart's desire, whatever that may be. And we know that as long as it serves the greatest good for all involved, there is no energy to hold it from us. It is all right here, right now, and the universe says yes. So I know that we are all blessed and that we are unfolding the perfect life for ourselves for 2023 and beyond, and that we affect others in a positive way, always. I give thanks for this awareness. I know that everything that I spoke of has already become manifest. It is already on its way because the law always says yes. So I release, I let it go and let it be. And so it is. Amen. Ashe. And now we will hear from Faith, Elaine's favorite.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. Ask me where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lives at my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, for where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. voice playing boldly in and out and through me as me. Oh, oh, do do do. Oh, hey, yeah. Whether I am, where I stand, whether I play, where I work and breathe and move and feel, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and leave. God is, life is, joy is, oh, God is.
Faith Rivera, wherever I am, God is.
Oh my goodness gracious, Charlene, we love our live musicians, but I have to say it's so wonderful to have those videos with those inspirational singers. Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for the message. Thank you for the music. Now is the time to bless the donations that are shared at CSL Leesburg. We believe in the law of circulation, so we're a tithing community. The donations that are shared with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. You can see by looking at the screen, there's so many ways that you can give. I bet you've already found a way that works just best for you. I hope so. We want to thank you so much for your support. We can't do what we do without your help, and we spread the wealth that goes to our home organization. A portion goes to our home organization and goes to other communities, affiliations, organizations that support our vision of helping to create a world that works for everyone. Now I'd like you to join me as we bless our gifts and say our affirmation of oneness. So read along with me. You can see it on the screen. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, say it loud and proud, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live, and so it is. All right, we got some announcements. So Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you can, join Charlene and friends as they explore their dreams. We know that Spirit is always trying to help us out and guide us. And sometimes those messages are coming to us when we are quiet and still and sleeping and dreaming. So on Tuesdays, Charlene and friends get together and they explore their dreams and they help you interpret your dreams to see if there's some messages, some guidance within your dreams. And can you believe it? It's time for our closing affirmation. So folks, you know me, right? You know, you're going to turn on your mics. You're going to join me as we first take our hands and put them over our hearts and just give yourself some love. And now we're going to say, I am love.
I am love.
Oh, you guys, do you see the smile on my face when you join me? I love that so much. Now point to someone near you. It could be somebody in the room with you. It could be your friends on the screen at CSL. It could be a little furry companion that's with you in the room. Whoever you decide to send out this blessing, you are love.
You are love.
Yes, so wonderful. Now put your hands up in the air and just do a big arc and just say, it's all love.
All love.
It's all love.
It is all love. Thank you so much. If you can stay and hang out with us, we share our pearls. Those are the little nuggets from our service today that just resonate with you, or you just kind of hang out, talk about the burning bowl experience if you want to. Share what you did for New Year's, whatever you'd like to. Maybe share those New Year's resolutions. Just hang out if you can, and if you can't, then know that we send you off with our love and our blessings. Thanks for joining us.